Hello everyone, Spiny Rainforest here. Today, we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Royal Kludge RK84. In this video, we're going to go over the pros and cons and everything you need to know about this keyboard. We've got a lot to cover, so let's unbox it. So right off the bat, I want to let you know that on the camera, the RGB is constantly flickering. I don't know why it's that, but in real life, the RGB is smooth as butter. No flickering whatsoever. So all the footage you see and it is flickering, you don't need to worry, as in life, it is not flickering. And I'm really sorry for the fact that most of the footage is flickery like this. I was really anticipated to get the keyboard. It was out of stock for a couple months for some reason, but thankfully I was able to acquire one. In fact, I got a newer model of the keyboard, which is a bit different and surprisingly better. What really did impress me is the package contents. The package contains a few very unique and useful features. The first being a keycap puller that is really good quality. Second being a switch puller, since the keyboard is hot swappable. And third is something I didn't expect. It is switches. Yes, you get 4 extra switches in the box. They work as a replacement mostly, but you can also use this for a separate keyboard. Also, the box contains a user manual that is actually the most useful thing in here because it tells you how to pair the keyboard to devices, how to charge it, and much more. The Royal Kludge RK84 is a 75% keyboard. This is my absolute favorite layout of all keyboards. It is a TKL in a distinctive layout. I really love it because in a TKL you get everything you need, and in the 84 key layout it's even more compact. Seriously, this thing is very compact, almost the size of a 60%. Moving on to the main accessories of the keyboard, you get a USB Type-C cable that you can use for charging and using wired mode. The cable is actually really good and is pretty durable. It has this silicone covering which feels really good to the touch. Next, you got the 2 magnetic risers. I think this is a cool idea in my opinion, as many keyboards have those standard flip out risers. These risers have 2 magnets on either side and attach very easily. And the best part is that they hold on and easily don't fall off. The risers have silicone feet on the bottom, just like the keyboard. The actual keyboard is already inclined at 8 degrees, which is good enough for me, and that's why I don't really use the risers. However, if you do decide to use the risers, the keyboard will be inclined at 12 degrees, meaning an additional 4 degrees. And with that saying, I would recommend adding a wrist rest to eliminate any strain or any kind of pressure on the wrists. For me, the standard Razer wrist rest works best, but it's up to you. I actually use the wrist rest even without the risers. It's just extra comfort. Let's talk about the keycaps and switches. Currently, there are 3 switches you can choose from. The tactile browns, which are the ones I have, clicky blues, or the quiet reds, which are linear. But taking a look at the bigger picture here, this is a hot swappable keyboard, meaning you can pull out the switches and put any you like instead. The compatibility here is remarkably huge. You can swap out to almost any switch you like. This keyboard has the compatibility of 3-pin switches and 5-pin switches. Most of the switches you'll find out there are 3-pin, so you should have no problem swapping out the switches. I placed one speed silver switch in there and it works. Now moving on to the keycaps, they're ABS plastic, for sure not PBT, but this ABS feels very much different from the ABS on other keyboards. It feels like a mix of ABS and PBT. By the way, these keycaps are not shiny ABS and they do not leave any oils or fingerprints. The font on the keycaps, I really love it. It is very nice and good looking. You also cannot feel the text, you can only feel the F-row shortcuts and everything that is printed in gray. Overall, these are amazing keycaps. I think a good way to stop talking about the switches and keycaps is to do a sound test of the keyboard so you'll hear the beauty. And trust me, the keyboard sounds fabulous. So now let's talk about the 3 different modes you can use the keyboard in. You got the standard Type-C wired mode, the Bluetooth mode, and a 2.4 GHz dongle mode. This is so nice to have available on one keyboard. To switch from Bluetooth to 2.4 GHz, you have a switch on the bottom. It'll say B for Bluetooth and G for GHz. For wired mode, you don't even need to turn on the keyboard. It'll be automatic. This is only for wireless. I'm gonna talk about each mode in depth right now. So the wired mode is probably the best one here. As you probably saw before, this keyboard has 2 USB A's in the back. When in wired mode, those 2 ports are powered. It's crazy awesome. Thanks to one USB Type-C, you have 2 free USB 2.0s. To make sure these ports work, I've plugged in a wireless headset and a mouse, and they both work. No delay or anything, it works perfectly. I would recommend using this mode for PC or laptop only. But since this is wired mode, the max distance you can use it in is 5 feet. That is the length of the cable. Now moving on to Bluetooth mode. In Bluetooth mode, you can connect up to 3 devices at the same time. You simply press FN, short for function, plus Q as first device, W as second device, and E as third device. When connecting for the first time, you hold the 2 buttons and wait for it to appear in your device's Bluetooth. It's gonna show RK 5.0 and RK 3.0. You want to select 5.0 for the best possible Bluetooth experience. However, keep in mind that this will drain battery quicker. I would recommend using Bluetooth only for iPads, phones, and tablets, since they cannot use wired mode and a 2.4 GHz dongle. And one last thing, the Bluetooth max distance you can use it in is 360 inches or 30 feet. That's a lot, more than you would need to. Lastly, the 2.4 GHz dongle. It is very convenient. You just plug it in your device, turn the keyboard on, and you're good to go. The dongle is found in the bottom of the keyboard. That too is very convenient. I would recommend using this mode only for laptops or consoles. The max distance you can use it in is 180 inches or 15 feet. which again, just like Bluetooth, is most likely more than you need. So now I bet you're all thinking, that's cool to have it wireless, but how long can I use it for? What's the battery? Well, I got the answer. They claim that the keyboard could work up to 200 hours with RGB off in one charge. That is extremely huge battery. In order to fully charge the keyboard, it'll take a little while. It'll take 6 to 7 hours to fully charge it. If you guys were wondering, this is a 3750 mAh battery. It is really long lasting and perhaps the largest on mechanical keyboards that are wireless. Because I'm not sure when it fully charges, I plug it in before I go to sleep, and overnight it fully charges it. This is probably the best way to charge it. I don't charge it every night, however. I fully charge it once I got it and have not charged since then. I've used the keyboard for about a month now. I've used it every day for like about 4 hours, plus I had static green backlit LED. Haven't charged the keyboard for a month. I'm still testing battery though. I want to see how long it'll last. Now let's finally get to the pearls of the keyboard. That RGB, it is so vivid and so dynamic, it really is. The colors here are all very well saturated and very nice looking. You get tons of extremely cool and interesting lighting effects, about 20 of them. Around 8 to 9 colors. 6 levels of brightness, that includes no light, meaning 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 levels of speed. Speed though is only compatible with some, as it will not work for static colors or some other modes. Really, all of the colors and modes are awesome, but I like to use static green mainly, as it is one of the nicest in my opinion, plus I love green. But if you want to have the brightest LED on your keyboard, I would go for cyan or light blue, as it is the brightest for some reason. It's even brighter than white. You do not need any software whatsoever to change the lighting on the keyboard. You simply hold FN plus home to change the lighting mode, and select FN plus end to change the color. Simply just cycle through to find the right color you like. If you want to make custom lighting, you will need to download the software for the keyboard. I haven't downloaded the software because first, I'm not in need of it, and second, I have the newer version of the keyboard and the software version is not compatible with it. They are developing the version for the newer model right now. Lastly, I wanted to show off a cool feature you can do with the RK84. It is changing the style of it. You can take off the plastic frame and have the keyboard in a floating style. Looks good and removes visible branding if you don't like it. I like it because I don't mind it. Having it with the frame, it looks good. Having it without the frame looks good too. So you could choose embedded or floating, whichever you like, and it really does change the look of the keyboard. It's like a complete different keyboard. Alright, so my least favorite part now, the cons. There are really no cons here, but something I think that could be counted as a con is the charging. I wish that there was like some kind of light indicator on the keyboard that would show the battery status. For instance, a green LED light indicator that would say battery full, a red indicator that would say low or empty. That would be a nice thing to have on the keyboard, but other than that, the keyboard is just perfect. Anyway, there you have it guys, the Royal Kludge RK84. It is in a great layout, got amazing switches, and I truly love this keyboard, and it is my favorite keyboard of all I ever had. You should have no problem with the keyboard, and for the price of 80 bucks, this is really an incredible deal. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, like and share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel for more. It really helps me out and helps the channel grow. I'm Spiny Rainforest. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you later.